So you must know if you want to do it. All right. You must know if you'd like to do it. So please ensure that you do a thing. So you must know if you want to do it. So I'm just kind of switching some stuff here. Oh, well, can I do this? So I'm going to do this guy. So this is going to be here. Right there, good. All right, so let us now get into the big thing. Big thing, big thing, big things. Class time, we're going to start looking at some measurements question, and let's get going. All right, so first question on the board. I'm going to move my screen. I just want to say good night to all those persons on YouTube. Seeing Kimola saying hi, sir. I guess she's having some internet connectivity issue. All right. So good night, Kimola. If that's where you're going to stay tonight, not to have a problem. So good night to you as well. All right. So we're going to start just getting cracking the lesson. All right. So let's go. So I think that is good. All right. So that's good. That's good. All right, so let's get to our first question. Now, this is a possible question. And it says, the diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a field in the shape of a sector of a circle. Everybody hearing me, right? Everybody's hearing me? Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. The
Yes,
diagram below, not drawn to scale, shows a field in the shape of a sector of a circle with a center O and diameter 28 meters. Angle POZ is 90 degrees. So they are telling you the name of the shape. It is a sector of a circle. Now, I don't know if you want to draw. Anybody can somebody draw a circle for me, please? Can somebody draw a circle for me, please? I think everybody should draw a circle. Draw a circle and cut it out. Everybody. Draw a circle and cut it out. Lab time now. Draw a circle and cut it out. Draw a circle and cut it out. Draw a circle and cut it out, right? All right, so while you're drawing that circle, Now, I have taught my third form students at school a method they can use to find the area of the sector. That is a field. Now, when you look at that sector, what does it say to you when you look at the sector? What conclusion can you draw when you look at that sector? What is there any conclusion you can draw and look at that sector? Anybody? Is there any conclusions we can draw when you look at that sector? Is there any conclusions? Anyone? Any conclusions we can draw and look at that sector? Just use your imagination. Anybody? Is there any conclusion we can draw when we look at that? When we look at that sector? Anybody to unmute your mic?
Circle.
Circle comes to mind. But is it a circle?
A piece of it.
I like that. It's a piece of the circle, but give me a better word to use than the word piece of a circle.
Quarter.
Quarter. So, all right. So Nikisha is basically describing the portion of the circle, which is a quarter. But I was looking for the word fraction. But yes, it's a quarter of the circle. How do we know that it's a quarter of the circle? How do you know it's a quarter of the circle? How do you know that? How do you know it's a quarter of the circle? Tell me, how do you know that it's actually a quarter of the circle? How do you know that? What do you use to know it's a quarter of the circle? How can you prove that it's a quarter of the circle?
It measures 90 degrees, sir.
Yes, so the how you know that because it measures 90 degrees is a quarter. I mean, how you prove it? Expound on that further.
Sir, the little box in the corner at the point.
Yes, it measures 90 degrees, but it measures 90 degrees what? So how does it measure 90 degrees prove that it is a quarter of a circle?
Sir, because 90 times 4 equals 360 degrees.
90 times 4. Why do you multiply 90 times 4? Why do we multiply 90 times 4 right here? Why not 90 times 2? And why not 90 times 5? Why not 90 times 10? Why 90 times 4?
That's a 4, sir.
Because it's 4? 4 what? 4 what?
4
4
quarters
quarters.
are 4 pieces are
4
4
quarters. Makes the,
fractions.
4 quarters makes the what?
90 degrees.
Makes the whole.
Makes
The one entire
So it's a
circle.
circle. Exactly. So I know as if persons that watch my videos for fractions, now you see why the reason why I teach the fractions the way I teach it, because they're going to need that basic fundamental understanding right here. You see? So don't take the first lessons them for a joke and the techniques used to teach the first concepts for a joke. Pay attention to those because those are very much important. So don't joke with them. You understand? Don't take it with a joke because that's serious thing. So we're gonna know. So know what I'm doing. Look at the technique what I'm using. You know, I'm getting myself familiar with an understanding of the question. You have 16 minutes to do each question in the exam. 60 minutes. So you use that 16 minutes wisely. Don't get anxious. Don't make anxiety set in. Just relax. Just get to just get to know the question. It's just like it's like a relationship. Like Tiandra. It's like a relationship. Sometimes like anxiety get in. Men or women. And that anxiety can mash up the relationship. Same thing like if anxiety comes with learning maths, it mash up your understanding. But if you just relax and get to know the person, it will work naturally. Same with mathematics. If you relax, you get to know the maths. So when you think about maths, think about relationship. If you have a good relationship, you have a good understanding for maths. Yeah. I had a colleague where he used certain things and teach social studies. I'm going to borrow a bit of his experience. A student some years ago, 2016, when she did maths, she found maths difficult. And she said the maths hard like she was having sex. I said, well, yeah, but guess what? She was patient enough. She learned it, did well. You can do well too. So we understand now that that sector is a quarter of a circle. So whatever about the circle is, we can find it. So they say I must calculate what information was given about this sector. The angle is obvious, but what information was given about the sector?
Radius.
Dave?
Radius.
Look good.
The diameter. The diameter.
Diameter. But if we're going to find the area of the field, what information do we need to know first before we can find the area of that field?
Pi.
Well, pi, they tell you what pi is already, 22/7. Must use pi as 22/7. But what information do we need to find the area of the field? This is a quarter of the circle. What do we need to know first then to find the area of the field? See, that is a quarter of the circle. You must first find the area of what? This is where the maths come in now. You have to think it out. You must first find the area of the what? Is Evans already there? Mr. Evans?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you sound quiet. So I'm going to help you out a bit, but please bear in mind that you have to make the effort to think for yourselves. All right? Now, you say it's a quarter of a circle. We must find the area of the field. The field is a sector of a circle. So what do we need to find of a circle then? The area. Make sense? Because if we know the area of the circle and the sector is a quarter of a circle, then that means then a quarter of the area of the circle will give us the area of the field. And think it out. So don't think that this is why I wanted to do the assignments for yourselves, because you get 1 week thinking it out for yourselves. Well, now listen. And the things that Mr. Bernard are telling the foolishness. All right. Let's get down to solving the question. I think we need to talk about the presentations for mathematics. We need to start doing that again. And what I'm going to do is to give you a question to solve. And you come back and do your presentation. We teach you how to solve that question. We're going to go to that aspect of the program. All right, so here we are now. I did the wrong thing here, so we're going to turn on the camera here. Now, so look at my whiteboard now. Look at my whiteboard now. So you want to find the area of the field. That's what they want to find, the area of the field. Now we note a few things, that the sector is a quarter of in multiply, of the word of in maths mean multiply, of a circle. quarter of the circle. So the sector is a quarter of the circle. Then if we know the area of the circle, then a quarter of the area of the circle will give us the area of the sector. That's what it really says. Now to find the area of a circle, area of the circle, you know the formula is what? Pi r square, which means whatever pi is, multiply it by r times r, because r means radius times radius. So we know what radius is. They have given us did they give us the diameter? Did they give us the diameter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
But did they give us radius?
Yes, sir.
They give us a radius?
When I divide it, you get the radius.
Good, but they never give us. But they give us all we can use to find the radius, true?
Yes, sir.
So they gave us the diameter. They gave us a diameter. So if they give us a diameter, then we can find the radius. And as you heard, Ramirez says you divide it into 2. So the diameter they gave us is what? 28 centimeter. That's the diameter. For those persons who do the measurement lesson would have had an idea about what to do. No. So we discover the radius is half the diameter, because you heard Ramirez tell that. But this is the thing with maths exam. They give you some information and they expect you to use your knowledge to find the rest. So your knowledge of the knowledge, he used his knowledge a while ago and said that the radius is half the diameter. So he know that he needs the radius to find the area of the circle. That's what maths is about. But you have to practice these things, you have to practice. And that's why I need to have that lab time with you. As I said, I apologize for Saturday night because I have to give the HSB students that. I ask to pray for me. Please go down on your knees and pray for Mr. Bernard. He needs prayers. Please. When time comes, come out the exam time, the devil just seems to try to have me a certain way. All right? So please. So I'm just saying. So if we find the area of the circle, we can find quarter of the area of the circle. Because we established that the 9 degrees tells us that it is a quarter. So therefore, because we know that now, we know the radius, so we can plug the radius into the formula. We're going to substitute it into the formula. So if I substitute the formula, let me erase this now. If you want to write it, you can write it down. Or screenshot it. Good night to those 4 persons watching us on your YouTube channel. Just while we're writing this information down, just want to tell those persons on YouTube that we will no longer be streaming the HSB class free of cost. You have to start paying to have access to the link to participate. We're doing the maths now for 1 month in February, and in March it will no longer be free. So if you are learning for the month of February, then you know what you need to do when March comes. All right. So can I erase this off my board now, please? I have a small board. Can I erase this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nobody's don't see anything, so I can erase it. Eh?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I am a little whiteboard. I know some people
No,
use.
sir.
Well, no kind of late, you know. So that means no kind of late. So that means that if you never follow it on your own. So the radius now. So I apply.
YouTube to get back.
Well, that is true. You can go on YouTube to get it back. So the pi, so the formula we use to find the area of the circle first is pi times r times r. Now the exam tell you what to use pi to be. So pi is used as what? 22/7. I know the radius is 14 centimeters. So we plug in where pi is put 22/7, where r is put 14, and there are two places put 14. You can write it over 1. Again, multiplication of fraction set in. Yeah. Multiplication of fraction set in. So 7 into 14 was 2 times. So therefore 2 times 14 get 28 times 2. Can you work that out for me, please? Can someone work it out? 28 times 22 rather. It end up with 28 times 22 to give us the area of the circle. What the answer for that is, please?
Six 16, sir.
How much?
616.
616. Make sure you're correct, you know. 616 square
I
centimeters.
get 616.
How much you get?
616.
Yeah, that doesn't get 616, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. We are both correct. 616.
Sir,
Huh? How much
I'm
you got?
unable to see below.
You can see it now? 616 square centimeters. So we know the area of the circle, but the area of the sector now is quarter of this. So quarter of this, which means that you're going to divide that by 4. We find out what the area of 1/4 is. What's the answer for that?
154.
154. That's the answer for part 1. All right. There are some questions that will make hopefully reach there, so that those persons who are struggling on the measurements test will be able to jump past it eventually and move on, because time is of essence. The structure that we're using don't work. All right. Can I erase this now? May I erase this now? Huh?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Sir,
So
I'm
let's use-
unable to see all of the board, you know.
what type of device are you using?
So I'm using my laptop.
So you're unable to see on the board.
I cannot see anything that is below 22/7 times 14/7 times 14/7.
No, you can't see this though, right?
No, sir, that's what I'm telling you. I don't know what is below there.
All right, you have to maximize your screen. You have to maximize your screen, then you'll see it full.
Sir, we only can see 28 times 22. That's it.
Yeah, but that's the whole thing that is there. There's nothing below it.
Okay.
I carry the answer for the top here, so there's nothing below this. So I just have to maximize our screen and she'll see it, right? You have to make sure you pin my screen. You have to make sure my screen is fully in front of you. Maximize it. Full screen. All right? And you'll see everything. So this times is this. And a quarter of the 616 is this. So find the area. Now we need to find the perimeter of the same field. So in order to find the area of a sector, you can use the area of the angle and divide it, use the size of the angle of the sector and divide 360 by the size of the angle to find what fraction of the circle is the sector. So the 360 divided by 90 is 4, and 1 sector out of 4 sectors is a quarter. Therefore, we use a quarter now to divide the area of the circle. And we know that if you find the quarter of something, you will divide it by 4. Therefore, 1/4, which is of the circle, is 1 sector, and the area of that is 154 square centimeters. Everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, this is one of the reasons why I spend so much time on fractions. And that's why I teach you now to use the pictorial method of learning fractions, because I was developing your mental ability. When you reach right here, and you want to use that understanding to answer questions, we include the use of the concept of fractions. That's the whole reason. Some person said, no, sir, I don't want it this way. I'm going to learn the way that I know it. But I gotta tell you, in Jamaican terms, dog will nyam your supper. Don't say I didn't tell you. Let's get back to the question. Oh, good night, my dear friend. I see Miss Grace Wilson there. She's actually participating in our class. Good night, ma'am. I see that she gave the answers. Wow, good job. Good job, Shika. Good job. Good job there, Shika. Good job. All right, so we're going to go further now into the rest of the question. So we're going to look at the part 2 of the question. Okay, so the perimeter. What does the word perimeter mean? Anybody know? There's some primary school. What does the word perimeter mean? What does the word perimeter mean? Anybody knows? Not yet. Let's January 22 paper. Yes?
Is it the area around?
The area around. Well, not the area around, but something else.
It's area around a surface?
Well, it's not the area around it.
Okay.
If you went to the stadium,
The total length?
well,
The total distance around it?
the total distance around is the correct answer. All right? Total distance around. That means then you're going to walk around your yard. Walk from here to here, then here, and then here. Total distance around. Oh, Shika is correct. So Shika says measurement around. All right, fair. Okay, fair. Can work with that. Measurement around. But I would prefer you to say the total distance around. Because when you hear the word total distance around, is the definition basically is the definition is basically telling you this total distance around. Why? The 2 keywords in this now is this. 2 keywords. Total distance around. So total suggests you're going to do. What's the word total that you're going to do?
Answer.
Add. So what are we going to add to get the total distance around of that field? Tell me what are we going to add?
Measurements of the sides.
Measurements of the
Sides.
sides. So when to add, you hear the language coming out now? The measurements of the sides. Wow. Feel excited. Right? So, yes, Miss Wilson. Total distance around. So we're going to measure so we're going to add the measurements of the side. So how many sides it have? How many sides it have?
4.
How much?
3.
4.
3. Who can count on there? 3. 1, 2, 3. So my question, do we know all the measurements of the sides? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
We know? Okay. So since we know then, what's the measurement of PO?
Half the diameter,
And what is that length?
14.
14. Good. So this is 14 centimeter then. And what is OZ?
14.
14 as well. Do we know PZ?
$154, sir.
154. So let me ask a question. The 154 that we got, what does that, what is that describing?
Sir, the area.
Oh God, so are you saying that this line is the area, Tracy? I can't be the area, Tracy. That's can't be 154. And this is the problem I have with it. I'm failing to do the assignments. Is that young man named Juan? He started to tell his story before we went on a Christmas break. He went up to high school to our grade 8, grade 9, thereabout. But him purpose in his heart that he's going to get some subjects. And he started off with mathematics. And he purpose in his heart that he's going to do his assignments, and he has been doing them. I'm kind of stuck, yes, but when we're done the measurements lesson, I'm going to fly past and move on ahead. And he's going to finish the syllabus before those who are doing the exam. That's sad. He's a purpose in a heart to do the assignments. Him to find no excuse and just get on the board. He had a little mishap and he missed class last week. Only one class I think he only missed. I'm sure the mishap not completely solved. Everything not gone back to 100% yet. But that depends on mind, but it's still come class, it's effort. It's all about discipline, students. And every week I come to talk to you about the assignment. I now talk to you about the assignment again. Like last night, this. Every night I'm going to talk foolishness. I'm being very strong. You know why? I want to get the message. Because if I talk soft, I still not get the message. Still, as Delcy said, can then I do the assignment. I see who will pass the exam. So he can answer fluently because he's doing the work. When you do the work, you have that ability. You are building the ability to perform. All right. So what is that line called? There's a name for this line. What is it called? Anybody? What's the name of that line called?
Arc length.
The arc length. Who is answering? The boss. You know why it's the boss? Come and do my assignment. That's why it's the boss. I'm doing my assignment. Sorry, I never pay for the exam time and I give me a grade 1 this year. The arc length. And to what part of the circle is this arc length related to?
Circumference.
Hallelujah. Testimony time. I'm not giving the answer from nowhere. Part of the circumference. He was one of the 2 persons who did the project in the videos. The PF now, the PF. So all I'm doing when I'm going to the exam is just execute Take him time and relax. Reduce the anxiety to naught and just relax and just so look on the technique, you know. We are getting familiar with the diagram. We're not just run but answer the question just so. We have to have an understanding and work after. You have to understand what this concept is all about. Perimeter. Total distance around. So we're going to add something. What we mean by distance around? Add the measurements, the sides, the measurements of the sides. So you only know two, we have to identify the next one. We have to say, no, what do I know about that one? I know it's the arc length. I know it's related to the circumference of the circle. So now you're going to use what you know now to answer the question, to solve the problem, because you can't solve a problem without knowledge. How do we get knowledge? Go do the work. Build skill, build knowledge. That's why you pass a maths exam. You can't come to a maths exam and have no knowledge. You can't come to a class and think that the teacher will give you all the knowledge. I make the videos, you go watch them. He has done that. Come on, students. Don't let yourselves down. I won't talk about it next week. I leave it to you. So the arc length is a part of the circumference. So the question is then, what fraction of the circumference is the arc length? What fraction of the circumference is the arc length? Nobody's now answer? Oh, I see a message coming in. Repeat. What fraction of the circumference is the arc length? Circumference of the circle. What fraction of it is the arc length? Note now. Here's a circle. An entire distance around the circle is called the circumference. But a part of this circumference here is what we call an arc. So the question then, what fraction of the circumference?
1 4/4.
Wait. 1 4/4? No. Try again. Think again. Can't be 1 4/4, boss.
3, sir, sorry.
3? No. All right, let's start talk now. It's a quarter of the circumference. It's the same thing, the same technique. So whatever the area is, are the same thing. But the sector, once the sector is a quarter, everything about the sector is a quarter. All right, but nice try again. Nice try. Just lose one mark a while ago. No problem. But you're on a road, same. You're still on a road. You're still on a road. Good. So a quarter. So again now, if you find the length of this arc, you have to go find the circumference of the circle. Then find a quarter of the circumference of the circle in order to find length of the arc. Make sense? Make sense?
Yes,
All right. So let's get to the board now. Let's get to the board. How do we find the circumference of a circle? Do you remember that? How do we find the circumference of a circle? You see, how do we find the circumference of a circle? You can use either two formulas. 2 pi r or pi d. And I'll teach all this in the video. 2 pi r pi d give the circumference of the circle. So C, which means circumference, is equal to either one of the two. Now you use this one if you are given the radius, but you use this one if you are given the diameter. And we are given the diameter, so we don't need to use the top one. So pi is 22/7 again. And the diameter is what? 28. So therefore divide 7 to 28 goes 4 times. And 4 times 22 is 88. So the circumference is 88 centimeters, not the arc length. I hear Carlene just so she can't sit on the bottom. So this is it, 88. So we're going to find a quarter of 88 now, which is basically 22. So 22 is the length of the arc. That's the arc length. But it's not the perimeter. So the perimeter now, because we know that the two lengths are radius, equal radius. So 14 plus 14 plus 22 is now going to give us the perimeter of the field. So it's 28 plus 22, which is now equal to what? 2 plus 8 get 10, and that's 20 plus 20, 40. 8 plus 2, 10, that's 50. So the perimeter is 50 centimeters. Let me write the 50 to the top. 50 centimeters.
So it's circumference times angle divided by 360.
Yes, your length of arc. Circumference times angle divided by 360. Yeah. That's why I want you, if you draw the circle and cut it out, you get an easier method. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good. Let's move on now to the next question. All right. So we're building up now, building up on this thing. Let's share the screen again. Mark the next question. All right, so we see Shika is answering again. Very good. Response is there. You're coming on great. You're good at mathematics, man. Good at mathematics, right? Okay. All right, let's go. Now, here we have another image. Another image now. So my question is this. The diagram below not drawn to scale. And when I say not drawn to scale, it means that the measurement that they give is not the actual measurement. Shows a triangular prism. And you see two triangles, so it's really a triangular prism. A, B, C, D, E, F. The cross section is a right angle triangle. ABC, where AB is equal to 6 centimeters and BC is equal to 10 centimeters. Find the area of the triangle ABC. Now, hope everybody understand now why the workbook technique came into play. But the workbook technique in our usual Sunday class where Persia plays the groups and you want to do the workbook is to prepare you for what is to come. Mr. Bernard have devotion before him start the class with you, because the Bernard don't teach alone. The Bernard teach under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. So you need to understand that if you are given an instruction, you need to do it. You need to follow it. If you don't follow instruction, you're going to fail. I tell you straight up. You fail the exam already. You can change that outcome by doing better now. Kimola's sister came and did 3 subjects. Starting school January 2018, got 2 subjects out of the 3. Came back and did the maths the following year, passed the maths, and now have 5 subjects. What do you want? Don't joke with it. Get the job done. So we have here we have the triangle. Yeah. So let's look at what we have now. Look at what we have. So we have this. When you want to find the area of the triangle. Now I want you to look at this triangle here. I want you to think about it. I use the head now. Here we have a rectangle in it. And if I split this rectangle into two, now here's my little bit of information. Let's say that this was 4 centimeters. This was 6 centimeters. How do you find the area of that triangle here, sir? That rectangle here, sir? What's the formula to find the area of a rectangle? What's the formula to find the area of a triangle? What's the formula?
Half time base times height.
Half time base times height. So, and how that idea came, the triangle is half of the rectangle, and the area of the rectangle itself is base times height. So half the base times the height will give you that. Now, in the question, this is the height, but the height is unknown. And they did not give you the height. They only give you this length and this length. So the exam now carry from one unit to another unit, which is called trigonometry. You see why I have to try to cover the syllabus? It's why I have to do the assignments. Some people start from a long time and still not reach the second fold yet. Now, tears not gonna help you with this because you were told to do the work. If you try, you know, you might be saying, why Sir Arthur call upon one? Ramirez. The reason why, because Ramirez follow instruction. Ramirez will call me, text me 1 o'clock in the morning. He knows I'm up, but guess what? He knows I must teach him to wake up. It is I'm obligated to him because I'm doing the work. I become obligated to you for 2 things. When you pay for your class and when you're doing the work. Yeah. That's why I become obligated to you. But if you not do the work, you not have every class, Mr. Bernard not obligated to nobody. And I'm going to tell you something that I learn about students. Students who pays for their classes are always doing the work. Better believe it. But you have some of them who are paying not the work either. And if you're not doing the work, I am not going to be obligated to you. Okay, not following my instruction. There was a student who started off the program, got upset because I was questioning her to see if she was doing the work. But she not like comes to teach me, I accuse her of lying. I'm not accuse her of lying. It's just my natural, I have to do my investigation as a teacher to see if you were following my instructions. So if you were following my instructions, just like a doctor, you go to the doctor for treatment, the doctor prescribes something to you. But when you return to the doctor, your case has gotten worse. The doctor is going to first do the investigation to find out if you were following the treatment. And if you were true about following the treatment, the doctor might have said, well, you know what, I'm going to change the medication. But if you were not following the treatment, the doctor is not going to change the medication. The doctor is going to simply say, go through the medication. The teacher's medication is instructions. That's why we're called instructors. Get it right in the heads now. We're called instructors. We give instruction. We're not belittle you. But we are giving instructions to guide you. But if you don't follow the instruction, you're going to fail. There's no 2 ways about that. You're already. If you fail to follow instruction before exam, you fail already. Nobody go to the exam because you just fail already. You fail. A teacher don't have to come on board and write down 8 B's. No, teacher just tell you what to do, you're going to do it. All right. Don't talk, you know. I'm done. I'll steal that one from Pastor. What's his name again? Pastor Glenn Samuels. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Now, to find the length of that side, there's a theorist by the name of Pythagoras. And here they call it the Pythagoras Theorem. The Pythagoras Theorem says that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Now, when the triangle is concerned, this formula is only used with right angle triangles. Right angle triangles, right angle triangle. So let's look at it. Now the length C is 10 centimeters, which is this. This is length C, really. This is C. I can call this this is normally a common letter. I can call this A, doesn't really matter. I can call this B, doesn't really matter. So we are given C. So if I said 10 squared is 100. And we are given, let's call this A, but we're not given B. So I'm going to find A, which is 6 times 6, 36. Plus B squared, which we don't know. Now, if you think you're going to learn, no. When you reach trigonometry lesson, that's when you're going to learn it. And let me just say something more. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to note something. When none of you in the class, when none of you listen keenly. I want to pause right here for a bit. My father, I rate him as one of the best teachers in the world. Why I rate my father as one of the best teachers in the world? He's a primary school teacher. And I lift my hands and I lift my hat to primary school educators, good primary school educators, and early child educators, because they mold the child to think. Secondary educators are not a big thing that. Because when a child learns to learn at a primary school, they don't need you. You don't need me. Him just pass through on God. But why do I call my father one of the best educators in the world? When I did common entrance, for some of you it is PEP, GSAT, etc. My time was common entrance. I failed the exam the first time I did it. Second time I did it. I failed 2 times. I did it the first time in grade 4 because I was at the age, and I've never done grade 5. I don't know what grade 5 is like at that primary school. Never been to grade 5. I skipped grade 5 and I went to grade 6. When I did it the first time, I idled, I went to evening class and I was getting my bag of certificates and still never passed the exam. And my teacher at the time said to my grandmother, "You don't need no evening class." My father took me. I said, "All right, what's your problem? Much I go fix." Remember, this man used to have me do over passport questions when I was in grade 4. I still never passed. Passport questions don't make you pass exam. What did my father do? So come here. He bought me a maths book. Bought me a maths textbook. And I'm teaching you this because I'm sharing this experience with you because I want you to use the lesson learned to go and help yourself to get a grade 1. So he bought me the textbook. And in the country, I had to sit around that dinner table. But my father's a rich man. So dinner table was my desk. And My father, Charles Bernard, I'm going to give him the honor today. Charles Bernard. He told me, gave me a notebook, it's a textbook notebook, gave me all the tools I needed. There's a song I want to play after this class ends. Talk about tools. Hope I remember the name of the song. They gave me all the tools I need. And I had to go to work like a workman. So all he said to me, write out the questions, show the working, show the answer. Tell nothing more. You know what my father was doing? The textbook come with examples. So I had to use the examples in the textbook. But what my father was building at the time was my reasonability. You know why? Because I had to decide which example goes for which question. So I had to think, I have to compare the examples. So it's building my reasoning capacity. So I had to compare the examples. I had to follow the examples and make a judgment, a decision. World-class teaching that. And that's what I did for the entire holiday, Christmas holiday. Day and night, day and night. Only one thing I asked my father was to convert it inches to fruit. Only thing, nothing more. Went back to primary school, Alpha Primary, the late Miss Myers. And I said, she could put a question on the board. And nobody's in class could do the question. I got up and I went there bravely. Because a woman would have beat you if you get the thing wrong. So I went up there, took the chalk, and I wrote. And I solved that problem. For the first time seeing it, I solved it. And from there and then, I never failed maths. What does my father do? That teacher started giving me pass paper on top of pass paper. I was an ace themselves. It wasn't because I'm a brilliant person. Because my father trained me to reason. And I was obedient to follow his instruction. What say you? Some of you just want to come with excuses and don't want to do what you need to do. That's nonsense. So I'm telling you this, that if you really want to do well, follow instruction. Do what I tell you to do. I made the videos. Watch the, you see, you have a week. People might wonder when people call CDP labs and the services to find out how this timetable go. And when they tell them say 1 day a week, then probably say 1 day a week, 1 day a week, 1 day a week. Yes, 1 day a week. Kimoda's sister did it 1 day a week and still pass her exam 1 day a week. Well, guess what? Because during the week, you have evidence to watch and the time to understand, watch over the video over and over, follow the technique shown, follow the technique given, the advice given, and you make your practice for the week. You do your worksheet, bam, come to class to participate. Just like you hear Ramirez, I contribute to the class. One man I contribute to the class, Alexi, here and there. Simple. That's all I need to do. Nothing more. Don't tell what people learn differently. Nonsense. Because when you go out on the road, you know see words. You have used just 5 senses to learn. And your brain understand the information you're receiving through the senses. That's learning. Let me continue with the class. So.
Sir.
Yes, ma'am.
But it is true that everyone learns differently. Everybody don't learn the same way and at the same pace.
Well, it is equally true that when you go out there, you don't see words. You have to be observant. You have to build each sense. Because we don't use our 5 senses. We tend to use maybe 1 or 2. When we use the 5 of them, you learn more. Isn't that equally true, Mr. Evans? This was a baby. I love a baby teaches me to teach. Babies can't read, but they learn. What are you talking about? Come again, Mrs. Evans. At 17 years my teacher. Come again.
Sir, and I'm still saying that everybody learns differently and not at the same pace.
No, they learn not at the same pace, but they can learn the same way. That one is the correct one. I can prove it to you.
Sir, how many times? I've said it to you more than once.
Mhm.
And that's why I don't even bother to ask anything again. I have watched the videos, right? And I said to you, sir, I still don't, there are some things I still don't understand. And
Okay.
what's your response? What's your response?
What's my
Write down the instructions and what have you. I write down the instructions. I try to follow the instructions, but there are some things I'm still not getting. What do I
question?
do?
All right, question. Let's you're doing the fractions, right? When I show you to cut out the papers and make models that make the paper fold, you did that? You do all of them something?
Sir, and it's not the fractions.
No. Ask a question. Do all of them something? All right, tell me which topic it is. Tell me which topic it is.
Sir, go on with the class.
No, man. Tell me
Don't
which
let
topic. No.
me cause others to be.
No, man. We have time, man. We have time. We want to solve the problem that you have. You say it's not the fraction. Tell me which topic it is. Tell me now.
Sir, didn't I ask you about ratio and proportion and all
Right.
of that?
Hold on.
And each time I ask you,
Hold
you keep
on,
telling me, watch
hold
the
on.
videos, watch the videos.
All right. So hold on now, Carly. Let me ask a question. Everybody in this class, most persons in this class have watched those videos. Well, let's tell the difference now. When I start the video, especially, well, it depends on which ratio one you watch. Because if you didn't watch the actual I made, then that's where you have a problem. If you want to watch it, I sent off or get from YouTube, you have a problem. So if you didn't see the one that I made, then tell me it's the one I made. What I made, can somebody tell about the one ratio that I made? Anybody remember the ratio that I created? Anybody remember that video? Anybody remember that video? Anybody? Nobody? All right. We start off with the counters on the table. So all you have to do, Ms. Evans, get your counters too. Get your counters too. You have your counters, Ms. Evans? You get your counters then? Ms. Evans, got your counters?
Sir, I got everything. And I said to you, sir,
No, man,
just finish the class and let's not really go there.
Ms. Evans,
because I said to you from day one before I joined the maths class, I am not a teenager and I am not 25 years old. I have done maths in high school many years ago, never tried it at CXC. So when you come now and expect me all of a sudden to just watch this thing and understand, sir, some things I still am not getting it.
All right, so Ms. Evans, I asked a question. Did you get your
And the thing is, when I can call, when I have the free time, I can call you because you are on your Sabbath.
No, but there's something named Saturday night. Saturday night. Saturday night. 1 o'clock in the morning, like Ramirez do. 12 o'clock midnight, like Ramirez do. You have an excuse, Ms. Evans. Not taking that excuse.
So you say anything you want to say, and you can't compare me with Ramiro or whoever he is. You can't compare me.
I am not comparing, but I'm only telling you that I'm available. If you want me, I'm available. That's all I'm telling you. I make myself available. All right? If you had made an attempt to do the assignment and they get 0, ask Ramirez. Ramirez made the attempt several times.
And sir, you're saying I made several attempts.
But
there's the last paper that I don't know.
Ms. Evans,
I said
Ms. Evans,
I've made attempts. So don't tell
Miss
me that I
Evans,
don't
hold
make
on.
any
Miss
attempts.
Evans, Miss Evans, let me ask a question, Miss Evans. Do I know that you made several attempts? Do I know that? You're a teacher in making. I'm going to answer the question now. How will this teacher know the student made an attempt? You tell me.
Sir, and I didn't I tell you the last time
No.
I downloaded the work and there's some things
Hold
that I
on.
am not getting.
Miss,
So if
hold
you
on.
could think
Hold
there
on
and you
now.
said to watch the
But
videos.
hold on now. Miss Evans, how will the teacher know that the student made the attempt? Answer the question. Answer the question.
Because I said to the teacher.
Say it to the teacher. You know better than that. You have to submit the work, Miss Evans. Let the teacher see what you have done, Miss Evans. You know that, so don't try to go around it. And if that's what you think as a teacher in the making, then something is wrong. Because you need to see what the student did before you can correct that student. So all I'm saying to you, if you have a 0 you get on the worksheet, submit it the same way. Submit it
Well,
same.
fine, I'll just do that. I'll just download it and send it back.
Well, so you feel safe, you download it and send it back. Well, I don't know why you're fighting about it.
But sir, that is typically what you're telling me. If I say to you, I don't understand, and you say, how you going to know? And you say, if it's even 0, send it come. Then that's what you're telling me to do.
No, but if you send it back blank, you never be the effort. Put the answer in it.
So let me tell you, just go on with the class. Don't mind me. Go on with the class.
Well, all right. It's not a personality situation on myself. I'm not doing my job as a teacher. Not a quarrel, not a personality thing. I have taught many adult students. I've taught many adult students at JICS, Global Institute of Certified Specialists. Adult or no adult, for me, you're a student. And as a teacher, I have an obligation to get the job done. So if it means that I have to do certain things to get the job done, you have to just stomach it and say, no, that man want to pass my exam. So I'm going to do him tell me for that. Take pride out of it and just be a student, Mr. Evans. Simple. And you know better. So let's continue, students. Now this is an unknown value. Now, if you are saying 36 plus something equals 100, it simply means then that for you to find the value of that something, you have to do the reverse. You have to subtract this from this. So b squared then, and I'm just teaching it like this because when you reach the trigonometry video, you'll be able to understand it better. So b squared is equal to 100, the difference between 100 and 36. And b squared is equal to what? What's b squared equal to? What b squared equal to right there, so? Now for vex. 64. Vexing not help the situation. Just do him tell for them. Simple. 64. Now that is b squared, not b. So now to find b squared, we'll find the square root of both sides. And the square root of b square is b. Put over here. And the square root of 64 is what? Anybody know?
8, sir.
8. So put the 8 up here, so now we can apply the formula half base times height. So now we have the height, we have the base. So half times the base, which is 6, times the height, which is 8. And 6 times 8 is how much? Shoot. Water and water boil way out. Mercy. All right. Boil the water. Good. So, what is 6 times again? Did you hear? 6 times is how much? What's 6 times 8? 6 times is how much?
48.
40.
40.
Half of 40 is equal to? What is half of 48?
24.
24. So the answer is 24 centimeters. Now you have to go through so much thinking. Now, one of the reasons why I'm a push. I'm a pusher. I'm a pusher. And sometimes pushing seems harsh and hard. But as a teacher, I have to push you to think. I can't allow you. If you can't allow you to have a lazy brain. And if your brain is lazy, if you push yourself, you have to push yourself. I mean, I had a student who was 43 years old when she came to the program, and she got 4 to 5 subjects. 4 to 5. And the other two did get 3 out of 4. They were like adults too. They were like in their late 30s, late 40s. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. Just humble and just get the work done. You will pass your exam. You will. I need you to pass the exam. I need you to pass the exam. So you're going to pass the exam. But let us cooperate. Just say, you know what? I'm going to do himself for them. And just do it. Take self out of it. All right. So, the connection to this question is how to do trigonometry to find the area of the triangle. That's the thing about the thing. So you have to cover. And the reason why I started the hardest part in the exam, I started fraction first, which is universal to the entire course. And I spent time and I said, Miss Evans, you're one of them. Don't want to use the graphical way to do the questions. And know it come back to haunt you. You have to do it.
Sir, not come back to haunt me, you know. I understand what you were doing and I told you that, but I don't have the time every day to sit down and you know, I have a full-time job. I go to college 5 days a week. So you know, I tell you, I go to school Sunday to Sunday.
I know, Miss Evans, but guess what, Miss Evans? You know, if you just take 5 minutes sometime, I think it's 5 minutes every day. If you check it up, every 5 minutes counts.
It's more than 5 minutes to watch one of your videos. So.
Well, you know, if you watch all at one time, Miss Evans, watch it part. That's why you get 1 week. Part. Come on, Miss Evans, part. Just work with me, Miss Evans. Just work with me. If you do this something, Ramirez tell us we come online one-on-one. I may have that WhatsApp and I work together to screenshot where I have a question him and think back and say, oh sir. Allow me to tell Ramirez.
Oh, sir.
Thank you, sir. Miss Evans, I'm more if you do work first and then we work with you.
Ramir, you're a young brain, don't it?
Yes, sir.
That now I'm not to do with it. Not a thing to do with it. And all right, it's 9:34 now, folks. And we have more questions to cover. But I need next week at least submit one assignment. One assignment, just one worksheet. We're going to do more questions and go further. All right.
Okay.
Mr. Fernandez, I'm even give you.
Yeah, go ahead. Tracy, what are you saying? Tracy?
Sir, not you.
Okay. All right. So, okay, I see the answers there. Only Keisha, you have to stay. The heat is hot. All right, you're correct right there. The heat is hot. So let's wrap up the question. So now to find the length of the prism, if the volume is 540 cubic centimeters. To find the length of the prism, if the volume is 540 cubic centimeters. Note, in this question, they give you the volume, but they have not given the length. However, they give you the volume of the prism. Now, volume of the prism is what is given. And there's a lot of information in this bit of thing. Can anybody tell what volume is? Okay, Miss Buddington, no problem. Have yourself a good night. Now, volume is 540 cubic centimeters. But they give you the volume for a reason. Because they want you to ask yourself, what is volume equal to? The area of the base times its perpendicular height. What do they ask you for? The length, which is the same as the height. So they give you the volume, which is 540. And you saw the area earlier, which is what was the area? What was the area? What the area we got? 24 times height. And then now, in order to find that, you have to divide the 540 by 24. And you get the answer. Can you work that out for me, please? Can you work it out for me, please?
22.5. 22.5.
22.5. All right, thank you. I see exit 22.9. I heard it as well. 22.5 centimeter. Now to find the surface area of the prism. Now remember when we're doing the workbooks, Miss Evans didn't know the workbooks. I mean, you guys, because she wasn't at measurements yet. So I know that I poured you on that one, Miss Evans. But the workbooks, those who have been doing the workbooks, you realize now the workbook was preparing you for past paper questions. See now? The workbook, we're going back to the workbook activities. So I said Saturday night is a lab night, but there's a do workbook questions. All right. Now, the 22.5. Surface area, it means that you have to find let's look at the figure. You have to look at the shape of it. We have two triangles, so we know the area of the two triangles. Only if you know the area, the length. So we found the length, which is 22.5. And you have what? One rectangle here, one at the bottom here, one at the back here. So once you find the area of this one, so 10 times 22.5, you get the area of one of the face then. 6 times 22.5, you get the area of the bottom one. 8 times 22.5, you get the area of the back one. So to find the area of each of the faces, you have to add them up and get your answer. All right. So for the benefit of those persons who have to go to work, we're going to end the class right here. Pick it up next class and get here. But let's draw the curtains down on the class. Now, I demonstrated in this class the importance of several things. I know that a little pressure reached Ms. Evans and other persons. I understand that. I'm 43. And I have to be studying as well. And I have to be teaching CDP labs, Holy Trinity. So I know, I understand the stress. But how do we manage the stress? I mean, the stress that I go through as an individual, I can't say too much because it's YouTube live stream, is of a greater load to carry than teaching and doing all the work. You know, the biggest thing we need to be is happy. If we can find happiness, we have a whole energy to perform. And once you can find happiness, you'll perform. But first, you must check the levels to ensure that you're a happy person. You know, as I share this with you, Sometimes the things that people tell you, the teachers tell you, you have to pay attention to. You work with the ideas. When you look at a tree, the trees grows towards your source of energy. You have to find your source of energy and grow towards it. Move towards it. It will keep you always growing. The sun keeps the plants always growing because that's the source of energy, and they grow towards it and it keeps it growing. So first you find the source of energy. You know, God is supposed to be the source of all our energies. But sometimes we fail to realize that. I'm learning that lesson. I'm still learning that lesson. But as we wrap up the class, so one, find the source of energy. You have to eat healthy. It might not be easy, but you have to try. Cornmeal porridge is very healthy. Good for the brain. So your health must keep in check, in good shape. Exercise. Walk, take some walk briskly, just walk. I mean, I live in Patrick City, and I have to go down to the park to the supermarket. You know, I don't mind walking to the supermarket. You know why? Okay, I mean exercise from that, because I don't exercise regularly these days. So my exercise is to walk to the supermarket, walk come back home. That's my exercise. So exercise is important. So sometimes one of the reasons why we're not performing, because we're not doing some of the basic things that we need to do to keep the body functioning. So you have to be physically fit, mentally fit, and spiritually fit to perform. That is a fact. So check your 3 faculties. Check your yeah. Give me 1 second, sir. 1 second, all right? Just 1 second. I'm closing down the class. 1 second here. Now, so you have to be mentally fit, physically fit. Give me 1 second. Spiritually fit. In order to perform, to check your faculties. Check your physical fitness. Check your mental fitness. Check your spiritual fitness. And then you'll perform. Because when I'm spiritually down, I don't perform. That's why sometimes you guys don't get me to come, because that's a part of that is missing from me. My emotions wasn't fit. My mind wasn't fit. So I couldn't come teach you. But once I get my mind in the right place, I will perform. So check those 3 faculties. Next thing, so health is important. You exercise, eating healthy. You make sure you are fit in those 3 faculties. And the next thing is this. Just do what is required. Try first. I am the teacher who likes you to try first. But when you go into the exam and the question looks strange, my students are supposed to go into the exam and can't do it because of how they are trained. There's a training camp I run. Training camp I run. So sometimes the drill might seem too difficult. But if I wanted to pass the 6 exam, I don't know, baby business is. I'm going to push you to the ends. And I'll leave you with one last testimony. I had an adult student from St. Vincent who was attending Michael Teachers College. Yes, just like you, Miss Evans, was attending Michael Teachers College. And some birdie told her that Chet Bernard, the teacher once. I went to her home in Barbican, because I was living nearby. And that young lady from St. Vincent, I went to her and I said, do you have a math textbook? She said, yes. There's a red one. I said, take it out. Now start to do some work. I said, start to do some work. I start ball. I said, when's not start ball yet? I said, not reach number yet. I said, when you start ball, now you start learn. Start the ball and cry. My heart gets soft. And I said, come with me. I took her outside in our garden. She had a little backyard garden at the time. You know? I said, look at the plant outside. Tell me something about it. She says green. So okay, tell me something more. She tell me more. I said, tell me something more. She's there wondering, what am I trying her? What is it that I'm looking for? As I keep telling something more. She eventually took the confidence and touched the plant. Then she could tell me the texture of the plant. And it says, that is what you need to use to learn. Do something with something to learn something about the something. And she took that and got a B+ in her college maths. So I know what I'm doing in seconds. Just do what I tell you to do. Don't come and tell me about how people learn, because I've been teaching for 17 years. I've taught slow learners, fast learners, in between, get the same results. To God be the glory. Just work with me, seconds. You won't fail. So I'll leave you with that experience. Just trust the process and you'll do well. Have yourselves a good night. So I'll look for another song. Look, if anybody remember the song, you can tell me, the song about the building. So I'm building something another. Building something another. Just building. Something about building. Nobody know the song? Giving the tools and giving tools or something like that. Nobody know the song? Tools. Or something, a song. When I get the song, I'll tell you what the song is. When I get the song, I'll tell you. But it's a song that you should listen to. You know, and you do well. So that's it for tonight. And we'll look forward to see you Saturday night when we dive back down into our workbooks to ensure that you're doing the work. Submit at least one assignment. Mr. Bernard will be ready to mark it or to help you to go through it. All right? You're going to pass the exams. It's not going to make you waste your money. All right, ma'am? Your friend brought it into this for a reason. I should know so I can do the job. So please, don't underestimate that. I know you don't underestimate it, but don't feel too pressured. Just do what you tell it to do. I know you want to add an assignment and I get the score feed. I know that's a problem, you know. I asked him, nah, so you need to come and I get the score. I know that's a problem with me, you know, seat me can't help you. At the point me not trying to make. We have a seat first, then we can help you. All right. So just do what you need to do and you'll be successful. Have yourself a good night. Take care. All right.
Sir,
Yeah, man. Cool.
sir,
Okay, go ahead, Deandra.
I'm going to text you on WhatsApp when I come out of the class.
Good night.
Yeah, good night, Ramirez. All right, no problem.